open to questions or comments or anything else that people would like to know.
As a document, or if you were referencing a wiki, in most cases then would you consider that valuable, accurate information?
I would say it depends. The question is, can you trust the content on wikis? And she mentioned citing them. The citation guidelines for anything on the web ask that you include the date and time stamp for when you looked at it. That is particularly true of wikis because there's so many people who could be changing things at any time. What I recommend doing, if you have something in particular that you liked, save that page offline. Save it onto your hard drive so that you've got a copy of it the way it was, so that you can come back to it and refer to it.
It's different the next time you go to it, possibly.
It might very well be different the next time you go to it. Like I said, that a wiki is only as good as its community, so it depends upon who's editing it. Who's editing it, and also what sort of tracking or oversight they have.
So there's no way to know who that is?
There is. And most of the wikis, one of the nice things is that they have this history function where you can see versions and see what changes were made and who made them. So if you require people to log in and get an account and to give their email for that account, you can track who made a specific change back to the person who said it. And there are, with Wikipedia, they have open changes. They also have a separate part of the wiki where people debate what information is going to be up there. So when I'm editing Wikipedia, I'm very careful to include my sources. I don't just say because I think so. You know, I give some information and say as cited in, or as shown in, or as so-and-so wrote, and then give some sources for it. And that way I haven't, so far nothing I've written has been ripped back out.
Are these, is your sense that these are things that are requiring full-time people, monitoring, organizing? I mean, you mentioned several that you thought were very good, and it seems like a website. Websites are only good if people are constantly, on them, changing them, getting some of that.
The question is about staff time to support wikis and keeping them alive and dynamic. That's the point of the wiki, is that you have a community. When you have a website, keeping it dynamic and alive is more work because you have a person who's making a change to a page, who goes to a webmaster, who then has to post it. With the wiki, you've got this software in which it's embedded. And you might have a change you want to make, and you go in and make it. And you're not dependent on the webmaster to do it. So it becomes very interactive because you've got a team of people who are responsible for the content. It's easier to keep it up to date and to have those changes made and to keep it alive because you've got it. You have to get the people engaged with it. It has to be doing something worthwhile. I have seen wikis that have died because they put it up, they thought it would be a cool idea, but they didn't have any specific work that it was supposed to be accomplishing, or a project, or team, anything like that. And so you put it up because you think, well, somebody should do this, it should be a good idea, we don't have anything like it. But then you find that the community isn't ready for it yet. People don't engage with it, people aren't aware of it, and it sort of lingers and then goes away. So the trick is to really have a need for that wiki and to have the community that's really engaged with it. And you've noticed with Wikipedia, it obviously fills a genuine need for people. And so it's grown and become very active and very dynamic. let's see. We are using wikis quite a bit in my library right now, and we're using it for internal functions. We're using it to draft press releases. We're using it to draft content that we might want to put up on our website where we can review it before it goes there. We use it to draft internal reports for our management, to gather statistics, to gather ideas, to do brainstorming sessions. And rather than, sometimes we can avoid having some meetings because we'll open up a page in the wiki and say, okay, we just can't face another meeting. Everybody go put in 3 ideas for what we need to do to respond to this, whatever it is we're looking at. We want to do X, Y, Z, we've got a goal. So in our case, we're using it a lot. It's kind of management driven, but once our group became accustomed to it, you find people saying, well, why don't we just do this on the wiki? And we'll open a new page and people start to spontaneously go to the wiki to create new content. Now that's all closed and within our working group. The ones that are open to the public, again, you have to have a specific function. So if you open a wiki for your professional association, is the work going to devolve on one person to use it? Is it going to be a content management system where you've got somebody who's using it to push information out to the association membership? Or is it something where you want the association to dialogue and communicate with each other? If you want the latter, you would need to have people who are already comfortable using that technology. If they aren't, it won't happen. And then the work devolves on one person. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So the answer is it depends.
Just a quick question on your internal wiki that you were referring to. Where did you get the source for that? Did you download that from wikipedia.org?
Okay, the question is for our staff internal wiki, what software or platform are we using? There is a wiki platform that's part of CTools. And we are actually using that. I've had people ask me about other wikis that if they want to do one that's more open or public. And the three most common ones I've seen are PB Wiki, which is peanut butter wiki, because it's supposed to be as easy as making a peanut butter sandwich. Wikispaces.com, which I see being used very heavily in K-12 education. And then wet paint. And I personally just adore wet paint. But those are all 3 good ones. Wetpaint.com, yes.
You've been listening to a presentation from the University of Michigan School of Dentistry, which is dedicated to supporting open learning and open educational resources. This recording is licensed under the Creative Commons. It may be reused and redistributed for nonprofit use. Please attribute materials to the University of Michigan School of Dentistry and redistribute under this same license. For more information on how this and other University of Michigan School of Dentistry recordings may be used, visit www.dent.umich.edu/license.